You better not.
Okay.
You better not. You better not. You better not.
Guys, we're literally just here to have civil discussion.
So immediately following the assassination of Charlie Kirk at UVU over in Utah, we saw large portions of the left wing celebrating his murder. In fact, there are clips of individuals on the scene when Charlie Kirk was shot, smiling, having a good time, cheering it on as it's going on, as he's being loaded into the ambulance, which of course was a sickening, disgusting display by the left wing. But this is something that they're trained to believe, because obviously they assume that words are violence. So even though we know Charlie Kirk just went to these places to talk to them, they have decided that his words are worthy of a murderous response. And by the way, this is huge portions of the left wing, not just randoms on TikTok, people with jobs willing to sign their name and attach their face to these words. And of course, we saw members of Congress endorse the violence without actually saying that they were in favor of it, by going out of their way to quote mine and use the exact same excuses that the people openly endorsing the violence use in order to justify it. We saw it from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez lying about Charlie Kirk on the House floor. Ilhan Omar has been doing the same. Jasmine Crockett, a bunch of different Democrats, both in the media and of course in Congress, signaling to their base, their violent, bloodthirsty base, that this is acceptable behavior. Now, by contrast, on the right, we saw a lot of mourning. We saw candlelight vigils, no rioting at all whatsoever, a bunch of events, a bunch of religious resurgence, and we also saw people trying to pick up the mantle of Charlie Kirk, go to these universities, do outdoor events in order to talk to students, in order to try to bridge the gap, carry on Charlie Kirk's legacy in all of these wonderful, peaceful ways. Now, of course, Cam Higby and a bunch of other people are among those who did attempt this. They actually recently went to TSU, Tennessee State University, a historically black college, in order to have civil conversations, in order to discuss this. And for a while, that's exactly what went down. For a while, it was peaceful before a mob started gathering up and decided that they were going to try to kill Cam Higby, chase him off the campus along with the people that he showed up with, and then intimidate them for daring to speak. Because guess what? This is an ideology that is widespread among the left wing. And in fact, we actually saw somebody holding a screwdriver, maybe looking to do something to Mr. Higby, somebody who, although he's a good guy and he has a good amount of subscribers on his YouTube channel, is far less notable than Charlie Kirk, but because he's saying the evil things and wearing the evil orange man's hat, becomes an acceptable target. And this is what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
So what part of our systems is for people of color?
All of it. The entire system is for everybody. Anybody who's an American citizen.
So you feel like there's nothing. So you feel like everybody is equal.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's equal in their rights, but not everybody's obviously equal in their, what they have. Like, I grew up in a double wide trailer. He grew up in Boca Raton, so, we didn't grow up equal. We're both white. I mean, he's a Jew, so that's probably why he grew up in Boca Raton. But so we're not equal in what we possess as we start always, but we are equal in what we're allowed to do, our opportunity.
Can I ask you, do you think that there's any law that allows me to do something that you can't do, for example?
I don't think there's any laws that say that you can do something that I can't. But then again, this system can't be ignored. Like, we can't just say it does not exist, because there are countless examples of it existing.
Maybe just one example of what you're talking about. So what's wrong with the system that allows, I guess, racism to be systemic or institutionalized?
So you never would have guessed, based on the early portion of this video uploaded by Cam Higby onto his YouTube channel that is going viral on social media, that it would spiral out to the point where the lives of Cam Higby and the people that he brought with him in order to have conversations with members of the Tennessee State University campus would have spiraled out into a riot. Here you have an individual who doesn't really agree with Cam, who doesn't agree with the assertions that he's making, speaking, but he comes up to the microphone in a very respectful way in order to have a conversation with him. And although you could start to see a crowd forming behind them, in reality, again, at this moment in time, just 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk was assassinated at a university, maybe, just maybe, you think that this is going to be like the vast majority of these kinds of events, where it's peaceful, you might run into an unhinged lefty here and there, but you're not going to escalate to the point where these people are going to want to attack Cam and his cohorts. But guess what? That's exactly how this spiraled out of control. But the reason I want you to hear a little bit of this interaction is because you can understand this is not crazy radical beliefs or anything of the sort. This is not a call to violence or some kind of an attack on the people on this campus. This is just university students showing up, bringing their cameras, trying to videotape these interactions to, again, try to follow in Charlie Kirk's footsteps to a certain extent. Again, hear it for yourself.
I mean, I would argue the opposite. Like, again, we have civil rights acts on top of civil rights acts, in addition to the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. 14th Amendment being written for the sole purpose of expanding and equalizing the rights of white people and black people. And furthermore, the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause echoes exactly what, like, the Civil Rights Act says, right? You cannot be discriminated based on your inalienable characteristics like your race, your sex, your sexuality, etc.
But even though we have these laws, that doesn't stop it from happening. We still know that...
You're right, racism does happen, still, even though there are laws that ban it. And I think that those laws are oftentimes used to enforce a culture of anti-racism. In the United States, we actually cancel people for being racist all the time. But we have, in the system, as far as the system goes, you can't stop people from being racist on an individual level, unfortunately. It happens in every country, on every continent, all around the world, and it has since the beginning of time. But what you can do is make it illegal to institutionalize it by saying, you can't allow you have to allow everybody to eat at your restaurant. You can't not admit people based on their color. You can't prioritize people based on their color, etc.
So again, this is a very normal interaction on a college campus, allegedly where you're trying to exchange ideas. You would think there would be more backing from these students who are making the arguments that evil white racism is under every rock because they're at a historically black university. However, what we see after a very boring fast forward effect that honestly Cam Higby probably should have done like a page curl or something, or even the SpongeBob a few moments later, is that this completely spirals out of control. The police end up showing up, and guess what? It's Cam and his cohorts that need to be tossed off campus because they're immediately threatened with violence once the mob starts grouping up, realizes that they outnumber them, and instead of actually debating because they don't have any IQ points between them, they decide that they're going to go with thuggish, brutish violence. Again, a very not good look for a historically black university.
Come on, really? Seriously? Yo.
Oh, you better not, boy! You better not!
Okay.
You better not!
Guys, we're literally just here to have civil discussion.
Now look, I don't know if these are actually police officers or if they're just campus security, but as you could see right there, a crime was committed right in front of these officers' line of sight. You had a black student from this university come up and steal the sign. Cam ends up getting up in order to get the sign back, and then a black individual decides to walk right up to his face and say, "You better not," in a very threatening way, get in his face like he's gonna fight him, and the police don't do anything. This is somebody, by the way, that you would arrest. This is also called instigating a riot because there's so many people right here, but that person is just allowed to threaten violence against Cam Higby for, again, the crime of trying to talk to him. Again, this is absolute thuggish brutishness. It's absolutely unacceptable, but this is the culture that we're cultivating on these university campuses. If you want to understand why so many people in the left wing endorse the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it's because they have been taught to endorse political violence as a response to speech, which they consider to be violence. These people have been trained for years to think words that they don't like, opinions that they disagree with, are not something to be argued against, but they're there's something to attack and kill people over. And that's what's on display right here. Again, paid for by the taxpayers, because all these universities are heavily subsidized. And I will just remind you that the Trump administration during his first term ended up securing 10 years worth of funding for these HBCUs because he wanted to win over the black votes. And this is how that money is being spent. It's spent to reward the teaching of these criminals, future criminals or current criminals, because they're doing intimidation and assault right here, to attack his own supporters. Great job trying to win over the black vote in that way.
Bring the sign back.
Now look, these have to be campus security guards or campus police and not actual police, because you just saw another theft occur right near them. Now, of course, they're not trying to approach the people that are stealing these signs because the mob is allowed to build up. And anyone should know, anyone should understand that at this point in time, or actually well before this point in time, it would be smart of law enforcement to try to tamp down the crowd, because obviously they're getting completely out of hand. And of course, I want you guys to understand that this idea that words are violence and they're a danger and you can respond with violence, these people know intuitively that what they're doing is depraved and wrong. However, they've been taught to enjoy it, because what you could see is not fear of the evil Nazi Trump supporters going after them. What you could see is joy in the fact that they're able to take physical revenge, physical reprisals against the people that they say are the active threats. Again, as it's been stated multiple times, they don't call you a Nazi because they're afraid of you and they think you're going to kill them. They call you a Nazi because they want to justify killing you. So, of course, they start chanting Black Lives Matter as they're about to violently attack them. How on brand, chanting to a fake civil rights movement that is based on lies that, of course, justified the most amount of rioting or the most destructive rioting in American history, while you're about to attack somebody for disagreeing with you politically. So this is the level of intelligence we're dealing with these university students, and it's absolutely embarrassing. This is a humiliating experience, and by the way, these people are all documenting themselves acting like total jackasses at this event, much in the same way that they documented themselves cheering the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Again, this is who they are. This is who they've been taught to be, and this is what they inflict upon the world. Now, of course, ironically, you have this woman in the front saying, they always gonna be mad. They always gonna be mad. You're the one who's angry. You're the one who decided to interrupt this very peaceful event where somebody just wanted to have normal conversations with you because you have no emotional discipline. You don't have the IQ to engage in a debate. And guess what? You're angry that somebody dare try to speak to you in a way that's different than your indoctrinating professors. Embarrassing. Now, of course, you have the mob of black students right here laughing at them, making fun of them, saying, haha, get off our campus, all while they're smiling from ear to ear. And yet, when you ask these people why they did that, they would say that Cam and his cohort are the ones that are threatening them, that they're actually afraid, and you know they're afraid because they're following them to their car, trying to intimidate them all out of fear. Maybe this is like the insecure bully phenomenon, but in reality, this is thuggish brutishness that has been excused on an institutional level by broader American society, and of course, Tennessee State University.
All right, we're gonna do like a little end live pre-game or post-game situation here. We have 500 people watching.
We've got 500 right here watching.
Look. Whoa. This is insane. What the heck? Oh my gosh. Hey, you're pretty close.
Also, don't think I didn't notice that Lance is right there. Lance is in the building, or at least in the vehicle, hanging out with Cam Higby, and also being under threat by the university students at this historically black university.
Well, I think the Fearless tour definitely made an impact
Yeah,
on
yeah,
HBCU.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa!
Did somebody just throw
Arrest
something in
that
our car?
person right now.
Arrest.
They just tried to hit the car. My gosh.
I think Horace is still out there trying to make sure the car is safe.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, officers.
Wow. Hey!
Yeah, they threw a drink up top.
Yeah, how about we get some arrests? This idea that you could just do racial intimidation in this country on a university campus is absurd. It's ridiculous. The idea that you could attack their vehicle as they're leaving due to your racial intimidation, also insane. But again, that's just grandfathered in over here. It's just acceptable behavior. And not only is it acceptable, it's federally funded. This is the kind of crap that you should cut off university funding for. This is the kind of blatant racism that should be unacceptable. And again, we're not talking about them speaking against Cam and his cohort. We're talking about them targeting them with harassment, attacking them, and forcing them off campus.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top. Yeah, we got this all live. I'm posting this directly after so everyone can see exactly what
Holy
happened.
shit.
Oh my gosh.
Turn up the live. We're good.
Alright guys, we are out of here. We'll see you later from the Fearless Tour gang.
Are they gonna block me in here now?
I think that might be what they're trying to do. They're intentionally blocking us.
They're blocking us. Here comes the cop. I'm not gonna hit it now, I guess. I'm not gonna hit it now, I guess. We've got more stuff. They're hitting the car.
I thought they wanted us to leave.
They're hitting the car. We're trying to leave, and they're telling us to leave, and they don't want us to leave, I guess.
Now look, as you can see right there, they end up trying to block them in as, of course, they're trying to chase them off the campus. And this is because what they actually want to do is commit violence against them, because what you're seeing right now is a mob being whipped up into a hysteria, all because people disagreed with them politically. And you have all these people filming them getting up close to the car like they have to capture this. And in reality, they don't realize how bad they look because they're in a bubble where this is acceptable behavior. They're in a bubble where this is just standard operating procedure. And by the way, the university released a statement after this, and they didn't really condemn the black mob of attacking these people because that's standard operating procedure. And how dare you go after these perpetual children that are just embarrassing in every possible way. But of course, I want to know what you guys think about all this down in the comments below. Should we continue to go to campuses like this, do these events, or is it too risky? Did Cam and them get off easy because the left has shown their willingness to murder people and cheer on that murder? So being assaulted and robbed and chased off campus is like a lower tier kind of criminality against them. All your thoughts down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about another instance of left-wing mob violence. Till next time.